And welcome back to another week of your favorite podcast, the 101 Things Under the Sun podcast.
Go Cubs.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. The Cardinals-Cubs just finished this weekend. It was a split series for the most part. I mean, it was 3-2 is what the Cubs won the series this week.
Mm-hmm. We won 3 out of 5, so same thing.
Yeah. So it was a very good series.
As soon as I said 3 out of 5, I realized I said the same thing you did, just in a different way.
Yeah. So
it shows you how our minds work, people.
Yeah. It was a very good series, though.
That's how good minds work versus bad minds.
Very, very true. Very true. Go Cardinals, though.
Fuck Mike Shannon.
He had a lot of work this weekend.
Yeah, 5 games.
5 games in 4 days.
Surprised he was up for the second game of that doubleheader.
I hope he did not drink the whole day.
Why? Good for him.
Yeah, good for sure.
He did. Good for him.
Good for him for sure. But I hope for his health that he didn't drink all day.
Fuck his health. What's he? 79. He's young and spry.
Al Raboski over the weekend turned 69.
I don't know who that is.
Al Raboski is a Cardinal legend, also Cardinal broadcaster.
Exactly what I don't know who he is.
Yeah, he's known for his handlebar mustache.
Nice.
Yes. Nice.
69.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
You're not up on your internet lingo today, are you?
No, I'm very tired.
I can tell. I literally scraped him out of bed right before this.
Yeah. Yeah, he knocked on my door and I was like, what?
I should have thrown something at you.
You should have. Oh, gosh.
Next time. One can only hope.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
This week's show is movie conspiracy theories.
Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wasn't going to let you stumble through whatever you were going to do.
Well, I was just going to say that you pretty much could throw something at me every night before we record.
Yeah. Basically, I could.
Yeah.
But anyway, folks, this week's episode, since you know us and we love our conspiracy theories, we just moved it into a different realm.
Yeah.
And that is filmography. Was it filmography? I don't know what the...
Filmography, yeah.
Filmography, okay.
Yeah.
Cinematography.
Cinematography.
That's what it is.
That's what... Well, filmography is a word, too.
Okay.
But
I wanted to go with cinematography.
Cinematography is the better word.
But anyway, that's what we're going to do. It's going to be movies and TV shows, conspiracy theories about them. So, like I said, taking a favorite pastime of ours into a different realm, if you will. And I don't have any about Middle Earth. Otherwise, I'd have led with that.
Oh, man, that would have been a good one to...
I can't even think of anything.
I can't think of anything either.
But anyway. So we'll get started. I'm going to go ahead... I'll end with this one because it's going to be a total mindfuck, I think. I read it and I was just like, oh, Jesus Lord. Jesus Lordy Lord. So, in that case, my new first one is going to be Gilligan's Island is actually hell.
Ooh.
So, just so you guys know, basically the theory here goes, that I'm reading right now. Everybody on Gilligan's Island, since there's like 7 of them, each character represents one of the 7 deadly sins. So Mr. Howell, the rich guy, represents greed.
Uh-huh.
His wife represents sloth because she doesn't want to do anything.
Okay.
Like work averse. That's what her personality is.
Yeah.
The movie star is lust. The innocent farm girl is like jealousy or envy, whichever name is actually where it goes to. Because she's just jealous of the movie star Ginger, her personality and all that, and beauty. And the professor is prideful because he can't admit that he's unable to fix the ship and help get them off the island. Then that leaves the skipper, who represents 2 of the 7 deadly sins.
Okay.
He represents gluttony and wrath. So, who's that leave?
Gilligan.
Do you want to know who Gilligan is?
Yes, I would love to.
Satan.
Okay.
Because all his like misfortunes and screw ups prevent them from leaving the island, and he's always wearing red. This is very well thought out for a fan theory.
Well done.
And I totally believe in this conspiracy theory.
It makes a lot of sense.
Because it makes sense. They go out to sea and they never come back. I don't even think in the finale they leave the island. They just, I don't know.
You just kind of die there.
I don't know if they die. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever seen the finale.
Well, if they don't leave the island, they're going to die there.
But in the series finale, they don't die.
Yeah. No, I know. They just kind of...
Maybe they become cannibals.
And then eat Satan.
What if Satan eats them?
Ooh. I like where this is going.
Survivor, Gilligan's Island.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting one. I like it, though.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good way to start.
How about I start my half off with a kick in the teeth?
That's fine.
Well, to those of you that enjoy the two Toy Story movies,
I do enjoy toast.
Yeah, I love toast too. We need a toaster. Toy Story 3 is actually about the Holocaust, is what this fan theory is. According to Justin Hoffman of Yugo.com, Disney actually employed this firm family favorite to retell the atrocities of the Holocaust via a talking Mr. Potato Head. His evidence is Andy abandons his toys like the Allies abandoned the Jews. Buzz's sanctuary in the attic is an Anne Frank reference. And then there's the incinerator at the end. Mm-hmm. So that's intense.
It got real dusty in that movie theater towards the end of that movie.
Yeah.
Real dusty.
Real dusty, yeah.
Real dusty, folks.
It's a great movie, though.
Yeah, I can't say it isn't. Oh, don't do this to me now. Oh, yes. My next one. It's takes place in the good old town of Bedrock.
Ooh.
Meet the Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones. But anyway, so what the conspiracy theory here is that it's twofold. It involves the Flintstones and the Jetsons.
Ooh, okay.
But the Flintstones is set in the future. It's like post-apocalyptic. Because that would explain why they're using very primitive things to model like current modern technology. We have like cars, record players, and the such. So they're using everything they can
to model what they had.
Yep. So that's that part of it. And the Jetsons are set in the same time, but above the Earth. Because they are wealthy enough to be off the wasteland that the Earth has become. God. So it's like the Jetsons are the wealthy people and the Flintstones are like the working class kind of deal.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And both the shows were... Because they had a crossover event, too. Where the Jetsons, quote unquote, went into the future. And... or was it the future? They were supposed to go into the past, but they actually went into the future. Which is when they ran into the Flintstones.
Whoa. Hey, that's... I like that one. Did you ever watch Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
Yeah?
Which conspiracy theory about Pulp Fiction are we going to talk about? Because I love...
The briefcase.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I do agree with this theory, by the way.
Okay.
As long as it's the right avenue that you're going to take it on.
Well, okay. So basically this one here says that the Pulp Fiction briefcase contains a soul. The golden glow of... wow, that was a terrible sentence. It should have been soul, period, and then continue on. But sorry.
Man, I gotta get you a little swastika and write grammar underneath.
Yeah, right? The fan site pulpfiction.com has the answer to the suitcase. The suitcase is in fact the soul of Marcellus Watson, sold to the devil for wealth and status. How? The 666 combination, biblical references from Samuel L. Jackson, motherfucker. And of course, Wallace's desperation to get it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think it's very, apropos. The whole, it's a briefcase full of gold. That doesn't, no, what the fuck? You know how heavy that shit would be?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the other conspiracy theory that I do like ever since I watched the two back to back, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. I watched them back to back one day because that's how they showed up on Netflix. But I think they happen on like the same day because they're both set in the same city, obviously. And because of the bank robbery, all the cops are out, being invested in the bank robbery.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when they're driving around the blood-spattered car, it's like they don't run into anybody.
Huh.
Who gives a shit? Because they're all worried about the bank robbery, not the random guys. Oh.
Jeez.
Sorry there. That was a big one.
Wow.
That was a big one. Excuse me. But that's why when they're, driving around and kill the guy in the car, that nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
That the car is just blood spattered all over. So, think about that. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's insane.
Insane in the membrane.
So, I have a short one, but this one makes sense. And it is kind of coming from the studio itself that put all these movies together. Because of what they did with each movie. There's little references in each movie. The Pixar theory. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
Every movie takes place in the same universe.
Some guy's got a website devoted to it.
Yeah. I mean, they're like Monsters, Inc.
Well, just about every Disney Pixar movie has a reference to itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Monsters, Inc., one of the first rooms they go into, they actually have the ball from Toy Story.
Yeah. But like
right there.
They all reference
Each other.
prior movies,
Yeah.
if they can. Because obviously the first Disney Pixar movie can't reference anything.
No.
Because it's the first one.
But that one makes a lot of sense just because, I mean, there's so many references to the other movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like, oh, here's one movie that references Toy Story. No, it's Monsters, Inc. has Toy Story, this, that, that, and
like
the
the
other.
Planet Express pizza trucks in a lot of
Yes.
fucking films.
Yes.
But all this is like broken down hardcore. I believe it's PixarTheory.com. I
yes,
believe.
PixarTheory.com, yep.
But check it out. I don't want to waste our show breaking that down.
Yeah. I will
But it's very, very very fun read.
I'll throw that link in the description.
You should. Then I guess my next one will be... It'll be a nice little quick one. It's about the Avengers movie. The first Avengers, 2012. So this is the film where Loki comes and attacks New York City. Okay? However, the entire plot line, Loki's plan is not to just fuck up the Earth on Thanos' behalf. It is actually to get back to Asgard. Because how great of a setup would that be for Thor 2 at this point? Because Loki can't go back to Asgard because he'd just be assaulted and attacked.
Yeah.
But if he because I believe they thought he was dead, if I'm remembering this right. Because they thought he was dead or whatever, and so his body goes back or whatever, and he change his form, all that shit. So he ends up getting back into Asgard safe and sound.
Interesting. Ferris Bueller.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about Cameron. Really don't want to talk about Cameron.
He is.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Ferris Bueller's real.
I agree with this theory, though. I totally do. Basically, the thought is that Ferris Bueller is actually a little voice inside of Cameron's head, representing Cameron's ideal life because he has home troubles. And Cameron is obviously the real life Cameron that is pointing out to this voice in his head, like, no, we can't do this because, Dad's
Ferris Bueller's real.
Yeah. But it's an interesting theory because Ferris Bueller is the only one that breaks the fourth wall.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I will not believe this for the sake of everything I know. I will never come to terms with this. Fuck that.
I like it though.
But anyway, let's talk about something that's actually believable and real. The Smurfs were white supremacists.
What?
Yeah. Think about it. Think about it. All like the I don't know, townsfolk Smurfs they wear their white floppy hats. Okay? It comes kind of close to the KKK. And then Papa Smurf wears a red floppy hat. Also like the KKK. And the big dude, Gargamel. Okay. Stereotypical. He's got a big ass nose. He's got dark haired. And he loves money.
Yeah.
Okay. Very Jewish stereotype. Plus, his cat is as Israeli. I don't know how to say it, but it's the Jewish angel of death in Jewish tradition.
Okay.
Also, the actual author of the comic strip, before it was like a TV cartoon, whatever. The first comic strip was called The Black Smurfs. So when in that strip, when they got sick, the Smurfs turned black and lost all their intelligence.
Wow.
So yes, the Smurfs are white supremacists.
Clearly, yeah. Or blue supremacists.
The Smurfs are modeled after white supremacists. Is that what you wanted me to say?
Yes, I wanted you to say that.
Okay, well, God damn it. My knife's too far away to threaten you today.
That's a good one, though. Makes a lot of sense. Well, this one you haven't seen. We still need to watch this movie. I haven't brought this upon you yet. But Labyrinth.
Oh, that's the David Bowie flick.
Mm-hmm. Jim Henson's Labyrinth. It's a metaphor for a girl struggling with puberty, is what this says. So basically the premise of the film is a young girl takes responsibility for her life and then goes off in search of the child, which is what David Bowie, he is the Goblin King. He steals the child. I don't remember. It was something about the goblins living, and there was this right type of night for them to come into the real world and steal a human child for the Goblin King. Lots of interesting stuff, but like the teenage body, or like a teenage body, the labyrinth around her is constantly changing and challenging her along the way. So,
hey, it makes sense. I've never seen the flick, but I mean,
we'll have to watch it because I think it does make a lot of sense. So,
okay, well, this is also about a TV show I've never seen, but it's very interesting. So it's a TV show called Murder, She Wrote. It's set in a little town of Cabot Cove, Maine. Population of 3,500 people. So the main character is essentially just a novelist and an amateur detective, quote unquote. So the whole like TV show is based around her finding dead bodies and then later figuring out who the murderer is. This conspiracy theory is saying she's a fucking serial killer. Because it's like, how else? So the show was on for 12 years. And over 12 seasons, there were 268 deaths.
Okay.
Which would... And the town is only 3,500 people. Like, that is an astounding murder rate.
Yeah.
Just in general. So either killers are just flocking to Cabot Cove, Maine, or this chick is just absolutely setting the hell up out of people. You know, framing them, and she's just a serial killer.
Dang. It's an interesting one. Oh, man. The Rugrats.
I should have brought this up when... we should have brought this up right after Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, we really should have. Because this is another figment. It's a... Well, there's a couple different ones. Because this one in particular says that it's a figment of Angelica's imagination. Mm-hmm. But I know there's one where it's a figment of Stan's, the dad's.
Is he Tommy's dad?
Yeah, he's Tommy's dad. It's a figment because all of them, basically the theory is that Tommy died pre-birth. Mm-hmm. And so Stan imagined and just kind of went, because he's kind of eccentric.
I mean, that's why he'd be an eccentric inventor.
Yeah.
Inventing child's toys.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense.
So that one I think is a little bit more, but basically so he just kind of went off the deep end and just kept making child's toys and just imagining the random adventures that his baby Tommy would have been able to go through had he not died in the womb. But this one says that it was all the babies were a product of Angelica's imagination being lonely. Mm-hmm. She imagined her parents' friends having babies in order for her to have some people to play with. Chucky and his mother died, which is why his father is constantly a nervous wreck. Tommy was a stillborn, leading to Stu always making toys for the son. Now that one is the one that I've always heard. So, the DeVilles had an abortion, so Angelica imagined a male and a female twins as she didn't know the gender. So,
yeah.
But yeah, either way, I mean, they both kind of tie into each other, really. Mm-hmm. But,
so I've got two. I got a real quick one, and then my long one, and I think we could wrap up and go into the normal stuff.
Okay.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. The real quick one. The Power Rangers are all child soldiers fighting against their will. Think about it. Like, as in real life, like 1980s and so on and so forth, kids were given like plastic keys or rings or something, and then told to just go walk out in front of minefields and in front of the adults or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, but the Power Rangers are given all kinds of gadgets and gizmos to go fight people they've never seen before. People they've never seen before, landmines you can't see. It's kind of, very real world applicable.
Yeah.
Even some fan ended up making a movie, who like modeled a grown up Power Ranger, and one of the lines in the movie was, "Yeah, we were children asked to fight an intergalactic war against an enemy we never met. Let's stop pretending our side stood on some kind of moral high ground."
Very true, though.
It's the fucking truth. All right, so there's that one. That was a quick one. This one might be a little long, but it'll be worthwhile. I'll provide a lot of evidence.
Okay.
So everybody remembers the good old movie Home Alone.
Yes.
Right? Well, Uncle Frank was the criminal mastermind behind everything. It was not a robbery. It was a murder / robbery kind of deal.
Whoa.
So, basically, Uncle Frank, if you can't pick out he's got little role. But he's the guy at the beginning of the movie who goes up and gets the pizza. He's like, it's my brother's house. He'll take care of it. And just walks away. Doesn't pay the pizza guy. That's your first hint. Uncle Frank's a shady motherfucker who doesn't like to He's a cheapskate.
Yeah.
Okay. But throughout that whole night, he's set up a sequence of events. You know, all the cheese pizza being gone, which then causes Kevin to get mad and all this shit. So he goes upstairs and all this stuff. He makes a big deal about everybody being up at 8 a.m. on the dot and they're leaving. All this stuff, you know. So at this point, Kevin's upstairs, so he's not in the middle of this whole people telling him 8 o'clock, all this stuff. And then, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then the power goes out. You know, so because that's why they're in disarray the next morning.
Yeah.
They're saying Uncle Frank knocked out the power or, like, sabotaged the tree branch that knocked out the power.
Whoa.
And then the next morning, like, when they're doing the head count,
Yeah.
Uncle Frank had a neighborhood kid just come by and be like, ooh, or whatever, like, waved him on, so then there'd be enough heads because they're freaking out. They're trying to go. And the last adult out of the house, or at least the last adult on the porch with, I believe it's Kevin's mom, as she was locking the door, is Uncle Frank. So he knows Kevin ain't out there. Kevin's still asleep up in his room, whatever. Kevin knows, or Uncle Frank knows, so he's like, whatever. And then fast forward to them on the plane. Kevin's mom finds out, or realizes, and she's like, oh, we forgot Kevin. Uncle Frank sits up and says, oh, don't worry, I forgot my reading glasses. What?
Yeah.
You forgot a kid? You forgot your reading glasses. What?
Basically the same thing.
So that tells you, like, A, he's a cheapskate and wants his brother's money. And B, it tells you how little he thinks of Kevin, comparing him to fucking reading glasses.
Yeah.
And then, after they land the airplane, Uncle Frank's wife, whatever the fuck her name is, the aunt, was given the you know, phone book or whatever, like the contact book by Kevin's mom. And she's like, yeah, we went through it. We called everybody. But in the background of that scene, Uncle Frank's on the phone with somebody. Who's he calling? Frank and Marv.
Mm-hmm.
So he calls them because it's like, so that's what this theory's suggesting. He calls them at that point. And then when they get back to the hotel in France, you know, everybody's freaking out about Kevin being gone. And this motherfucker's walking through with a little plate of, like, I think it's jumbo shrimp or something. He's just like, jumbo shrimp. Yeah, let's go. Not a care in the world. But then when Frank and Marv break into the house, rather than, like, be dissuaded from the robbery, they jump instantly to wanting to kill Kevin, you know, out of a few minor injuries.
Yeah.
Because, like, you would think, oh, if I was robbing a place and just something happened like that, I'd be, oh, okay, next house. Why are they dead set on killing him now?
That makes a lot of sense.
It's fucking Uncle Frank.
Uncle Frank, man. Shady
Motherfucker.
motherfucker.
After that, like, scene with the jumbo shrimp or whatever he is on the fancy plate, you don't see Uncle Frank the rest of the movie. But yeah, Uncle Frank's the criminal mastermind behind the first Home Alone.
Holy cow. That's a doozy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one, though. Wow. That's dark, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I like that. I think we need something that takes away the darkness, though.
Dad jokes.
Dad jokes!
Dad jokes. Dad jokes. Dad jokes. We needed to come up with a jingle. Like an entrance.
Yeah.
I'll come up with something.
Okay. Yeah, creative
Executive President of Creative Development at your service.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think mitochondria would be a great prison nickname. They'd be the powerhouse of the cell.
So, I bought the world's worst thesaurus yesterday. Not only is it terrible, it's terrible.
Oh, man. I recently read that icy was the easiest word to spell. I didn't understand it at first, but now I see why.
I hate this. You want to know why? Because the only time like I hear the word icy, I just picture ICEE with the little polar bear.
Yeah.
God, that's so good. So, a Mexican magician tells his audience, I will disappear on the count of 3. He counts down. Uno, dos. And then he disappears without a trace.
God damn it.
You knew exactly where that was going.
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. Oh. I want you to come up with a better fish pun. Once you do, let me know.
Is that a fish?
Minnow.
Oh, minnow. Okay. I didn't hear minnow. I heard like lemino.
Let minnow. I didn't say it.
No, that's fine. I just blended all of those things into one syllable.
Yeah.
When it should have been maybe 2. I don't know.
Yeah, it should have been. Well, 3 technically, but 2 words. Yes.
But yeah, ooh, that JetBlue airplane, man, right over my head.
Vroom.
Oh, and I tell you, I have a heart of a lion and a lifetime ban from the Toronto Zoo. Also, be careful. There's like I think it's a cheetah or a leopard, escaped from the New Orleans Zoo.
Really?
It hasn't left the zoo, but it has killed multiple other zoo animals.
I read a story about a tiger escaping from his enclosure. I don't remember.
Maybe it was a tiger. I know it was a deadly cat.
Yeah, I read it was like the week before the grand opening of the zoo, and it killed like 5 or 6 other animals. And they were like, well, I guess we're not opening it this weekend.
I know this was the New Orleans Zoo, and it was like last week or this week or something.
Oh, wow. Dang. That's crazy. Oh, man. You know, anyone who slaps Dwayne Johnson's ass has really hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Told my girlfriend she drew her eyebrows on too high. She looks so surprised.
So, I know this may work for you and Ethel too, but my wife and I laugh about how competitive we are. But I laugh more and louder.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. So, when my girlfriend told me she was dumping me because of my obsession with the monkeys, I didn't believe her. But then I saw her face!
Oh, man. So here's an oldie but goodie, and I know we've brought this up before, but I love this one so very dearly. What's the difference between a Zippo and a hippo?
One's a little lighter.
One's really heavy and one's a little lighter. I love that.
What do you get when you cross a dyslexic, an insomniac, and an agnostic?
What?
Someone who lays awake at night wondering if there is a dog.
So, did you hear about the local death? The guy that owns the cinema has died. His funeral is on Monday at 12:10, 4:20, or 14:20, and 18:40.
Good. You want to know what my grandfather said right before he kicked the bucket?
I'm gonna kick the bucket.
I wonder how far I can kick this bucket.
I love those jokes. just very blunt. Oh. Hey, doctor, can I administer my own anesthetic? Doctor. Go ahead, knock yourself out.
So, I recently joined a nudist colony.
Oh, God, I don't want to even picture that.
The first few days were the hardest.
I like that.
I can tell. I can tell.
Oh. So, why do scuba divers fall backwards out of boats?
I don't know.
Because if they fell forward, they fall back into the boat.
It's so good because it's just true.
Again, I really like those very blunt ones.
What do you call a nun in a wheelchair?
Oh, God, what?
Virgin Mobile.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good one.
What do you get for the man who has everything?
I don't know.
Antibiotics.
Man. So, what's Whitney Houston's favorite type of coordination?
Oh, God, what?
Hand-eye! For those of you who couldn't see that, I did some very good hand motions.
Not only his hand motions, but his face was priceless. I think that, I wish we had that on tape because that whole setup made the joke even funnier.
Sometimes it's not about the punchline, it's about the delivery.
Exactly. Oh, man. So I just watched a bunch of cross-dressers run a marathon. Yeah, it was one hell of a drag race.
Oh, man. So, I called up my landlord and said, "Hey, I got a leak in my sink." He said, "Go ahead, I'm not judging."
Oh. I'm trying to be a sociopath, but I'm not great in manipulating people. I'm more of a sociopath.
So, ooh, I clicked the wrong one. So, I went to the aquarium today. Really enjoyed the dolphins. Me and them just clicked.
Oh, man. Hey, Dad, what's the name of the state furthest north in the U.S.? Dad, I don't know, but if I find someone who knows, I'll ask about it.
Oh my God. So, I went into a pet shop. I said, "Can I buy a goldfish?" The clerk said, "Do you want an aquarium?" I replied, "I don't care what star sign it is."
Oh. You know what sucks? Vacuums.
God, it's a Hoover. Where does the general keep his armies?
What?
In his sleeveys.
I think I've seen that one recently. I didn't even think about it. Yeah. What if you age wine for 12 to 13 years?
I don't know.
I think it's called teen spirits.
Oh, that's good. So I bought some shoes from a drug dealer earlier. I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day.
Did you hear how the farmer got so much wool from his sheep this year?
No, how do you do it?
Sheer luck.
God. So, there are two soldiers in a tank. One turns to the other and says, "Blub, blub, 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 blub." Took you a second there.
Yeah.
Took you a second there. I saw the realization happen on your face.
Oh, I just came across the nudist colony one.
Oh, I gotta say another one. I know I've said this before, but it's another nun joke. Two nuns are sitting on a park bench. A man in a trench coat runs up and flashes them. One nun had a stroke, and the other couldn't reach. It doesn't get old.
No, it doesn't. So, recently joined a nudist colony. First few days were the hardest. After that, you can just hang out with the others.
Mm-hmm. The egg said to the pot of the boiling water, "It's going to take a little bit to get hard. I got laid this morning.
Oh, God. What do you call a long group of rabbits jumping backwards?
I don't know.
A receding hairline.
I take that personally. But anyway, this is the last one I got. Oh, what do you do when you see a spaceman?
What?
Park it in, man. Oh, I fucked that up. Parking it, man. My bad.
Waiter.
My bad, peeps.
Waiter. This coffee tastes like mud. Yes, sir. It's fresh ground.
God. We were doing so well, and we had to end it on that.
Well, it just ties in really well to me trying to piss you off in the next segment.
I'm not saying my last joke was any better because I fucked it up. But God, the middle part of that segment was, we were crushing it. And now it's just like, what the fuck? Okay. I guess it's time for some riddles.
I have 2 arms, but fingers none. I have 2 feet, but cannot run. I carry well, but have found I carry best with my feet off the ground. What am I?
A chair?
No.
No.
Because this only has 2 feet.
Oh.
2 arms, but no fingers. 2 feet, but cannot run. Carry well, but have found I carry my best with my feet off the ground.
I'm perplexed.
Ready for it?
Sure.
A wheelbarrow. 2 arms. That's what you lift it with.
Well, yeah,
With
I
2 feet.
get that.
And it carries best when the feet are off the ground. So you pick it up to push it.
Yeah. I never knew those things were called feet.
Mm-hmm. Legs.
That's what I like when I was going through stuff. I was like, that's kind of dumb.
I am a sharp looking horse with a flaxen tail. The longer I run, the shorter my tail becomes.
What's flaxen mean?
I'm pretty sure it means real thin.
Okay. I'm going to make a rule here that you can't use riddles of words you do not know for certain. Flaxen. Can you read it again?
Yeah.
Mr. Dictionary.
I am a sharp-looking horse with a flaxen tail. The longer I run, the shorter my tail becomes. What am I?
I want to get smart-assy and say a rocket horse.
A rocket horse?
Yeah, like a horse that's a rocket. Because its tail would be the fuse.
True.
But the tail gets shorter the longer it runs. I don't know.
A needle. Because the longer it goes through, the shorter the string on the end becomes, the tail. Because it's going through the fabric.
I am so lost.
Sewing. A sewing needle.
Oh, so the horse is the fucking...
The needle itself. And then the tail is the string that's attached to it.
That's fucking stupid.
Here's one that might be a little easier. What dresses for summer and sheds in the winter?
Me?
I guess.
Dresses for summer and sheds in the winter.
Yes.
I don't know. These are hard.
A tree.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because of the leaves. You want one more?
Not really.
All right. Well, do you have a?
I couldn't find any good ones.
No, a good one.
There were probably some, but
No.
social media trends are so fleeting nowadays. You can't keep up with all of them. Most of the time, how it goes is there's like one on Monday or Tuesday that I see, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna remember this one, and I just forget.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. We got a Shannonism for you today to celebrate the Cubs Cardinals series. Whoa! It just refreshed on me, and that was not very good.
Excuses. Give the
There's
people what
there's
they
the
want.
Cincinnati, Ohio, tomorrow night. We'll be in Cincinnati. Takes a while to get readjusted to the crooks and nannies of these ballparks when you haven't been here for a while.
All right, guys. I think it's been a good show. I'll see you next week. As always, thanks for listening. 101 Things Under the Sun podcast finished. We out.
See you guys.